I'll get the bloopers too.
That's gonna be ridiculous.
Hey everyone, how are you? Ashley Amudzai, the Psychic Life Coach here for another Thought Leader Thursday, and I am so honored and excited that we have the amazing Angela Perry with us today. This woman has it been 2 years?
2 years.
2 years has completely changed my life, my lifestyle, and my health on all levels, like mind, body, spirit. You are just a fantastic practitioner. So she's a holistic health practitioner, but a quantum coherence practitioner. And so I will let you take the lead on that. Angela, what is it that you do? Aside from being a magician and all the ways.
Thank you for that intro. You're so kind. And that's just you embodying your own magic. So please see that first and foremost. I'm just here to guide and support. So what do I do? So yeah, just through my own journey, it happened organically. And that organic process of just allowing what is going to come through, to happen. Yeah. So I love working with people that are ready to know who they really are and ready to shed the layers, clear the blocks, and just create their best life.
Yeah, Angela, I feel like when I met Angela at a groove night, and there's something about her super magnetic, and I was like, I need to get to know this person. And so I saw you for it was just an overall checkup. I remember I was feeling a little bit off, a little bit wonky, and then you do muscle testing, right? Do you want to share a little bit about that? It's amazing.
So muscle testing is another word for biofeedback, where we're just using the body's intelligence to show us what it is that we need. So we can bypass blood tests, we can bypass all the expensive CT scans. We can get up-to-date current information in the moment. The body is so dynamic. As energetic beings, we're constantly shifting and changing. So it's really nice and refreshing to know in the moment, where we are and really what our trajectory is, how we can maximize our path given these tools.
Yeah. So, and muscle testing, I was new to it. Like I kind of had an idea, but it wasn't until I met Angela that I was like, wow, like I could tell so clearly what was on and what was off. It was my body speaking to me. Right. And I never really had that trust until I saw the full body muscle test. And I was like, everything that I was intuitively knowing was a little bit off. It was. And so it really helped me integrate with my own body and my own trust. Like my body wants to heal. Our body wants to heal itself.
That's right.
And so let's share a little bit about your story as well. Like, how did you become a holistic practitioner? How did you even get into this?
So again, it was organic. It just kind of happened. Living, just dynamic lifestyle. Starting in Texas.
You do live a dynamic lifestyle.
I'm trying to think where it began. This was always my plan. Interestingly, I was asking the universe back in my early 20s, give me some momentum, give me something that's going to help me really mobilize a career in health. And I was working for, as a wellness, doing corporate wellness at the time for a big company, and it just wasn't feeding my soul, and that it was like, I wanted to be able to do private health, and I wanted to mobilize that. And so of course, whenever you put it out there, you get it back. And so I found myself 9 months with my 9-month-old baby, and with a breast tumor and an underarm tumor that was in fact cancer. And it was just that transcendent moment of like, okay, I know nothing about health and I have so much to learn. And in that following year, it was everything integrated, but also conventional. Because at the time we were in the South, and it was just a real process of learning that whatever I do to my body here, I will have to make up for it and then some to be here for my baby.
Yeah.
And just to really get the tools. And so I became the person that I wish that I knew 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And so since then, it's just been a dream. Some of the amazing clients that Ashley sent to me, it's been a dream working with the people that you've worked with and people here in Reno who are in their hearts and know who they really are. They just need some of the tools to carve the path. They just need to clear interferences. They just need to take the vaccines out. They need to get rid of the trauma from a car wreck or a head injury that's keeping their body from allowing the light to move through it the way that it needs to.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that too, because it was super eye-opening that whenever you have a tattoo or a scar or some sort of piercing, for example, I have piercings all over, like in the back of my neck, I have them in my back. Whenever we have that, you have the meridian system, right? Like the energy is flowing throughout your body, but whenever we have some sort of trauma to that area, it creates a scar and it can interrupt the flow of energy. And that's why we clay pack, right?
Right.
So people have tattoos all over. I had piercings all over. If you think that, I have dermals in my back, that's right around my sacral chakra. All of those things. I'm like, wow. And when I clay packed those areas, and for women especially, like if you delivered a baby, there is some probably trauma there.
Right.
Like that's something else to
It's
clay
huge.
pack, because it is a trauma, and that's where we hold, you know, a lot of our
And I
energy.
think that's what's missing from convention, and definitely from a lot of holistic practices, is the idea of we have to get all the kinetic pathways open and flowing so you can be who you are. And if we're just going in and dealing with bugs, if we're just going in and activating the gut, we're not clearing the trauma. And that's the truth. The truth is that food doesn't necessarily work until we clear all of the areas that can't access the food. Right? Until we open up. And it's not just clay packs, we can use other tools too to restore that flow.
And that's really important too. I didn't realize how important that was until I clay packed certain areas. And now it's like, I'm eating all the nutritious food and I'm super plant-based, et cetera, et cetera. But because I hadn't clay packed those certain areas, I realized my body wasn't even holding the nutrition.
Right.
It was just falling right through. And that's just one example. But every time I see Angela, every single time, I'm like, I'm a whole new woman. And I get on supplements, which I also love, are for my body. It's not just a one size fits all and you go to the store and you're like, maybe I'm going to try this or that. Like, you are muscle tested for the supplements too. And I do believe it, because in the world that we live in today, there's so much turn and burn with the food that we are eating. You know, the fruit is picked before it's ripe, it's grown in nutrient depleted soil, etc. So no matter, even if you're trying to eat all of the healthy food, we're not getting the nutrients that we need. And that's where supplements are like a huge help. And I love that you have that combined with the intuition of your body as well.
That's a really key piece. I'm glad you brought that up. I don't like to focus on the supplements at all. And if I do bring them in to open up and train a new pathway, they're targeted nutrients and they're for a very short period of time. And so, targeted nutrients that can get in there and do what we can't source the food necessarily from the grocery store to do. But once those pathways are open, we get to level up our life. So much what I'm doing is not just the activation of the health, but it's the embodiment and it is the integration part, meaning that, okay, we open up the path. How do we keep that flowing? How do we adjust our life, right? How do we change the parts in our daily life out here, which is a big part of what you do in your practice, which is
a good team.
We are moving the pieces out here. And is it easier, to find that coherence down the middle, that alignment down the middle when we address the inside here to match the outside world? And I think that's where the magic happens, is when you really up level in here, and therefore you up level out here. And then before you know it, you're just walking around feeling the magic all the time. And that's what we're here. We're here to experience that heaven.
And you are worthy to experience that. Like, that's a huge theme of what I practice. And what I preach is you deserve to live a vibrant life, and you have everything that you need to succeed already within you. Your body wants to heal, and you will be blessed with beautiful connections just like this for people who can advocate for you as you advocate for yourself, and just support you in whatever that growth process is. So let's talk about some of the tools that you use. Supplements are one of them. The electron biomodulator is like another one. Super cool. Wait, one time I had that on my heart, not to interrupt, but I was doing that on my heart, and you had your sweet Maddie next to me, and I was just, it's like, you can explain like what that does, but I was just petting the dog, and I just started crying, and I was like, and I love you, and I love your dog, and I love your daughter.
A massive shift.
It was working.
Right? And allowing for the kinetic pathways to open and flow.
I was like, I don't know what's happening. It just feels so
Yeah, and that's
really
we're here
sweet.
to feel that kind of energy move through us. We're here to connect at the heart with animals, with each other. And that's a big part of my practice. Is I help. This is good reinforcement for me and all these amazing mirrors that we have. But how key it is to be in the heart. We are here as a manifestation of heaven and earth, and in the middle where that meets is our heart. We want our heart field, our connections with other humans, to be the number one reason why we're here. Right? So whatever we got to do really to keep that flow and to be in our truth, to be authentic, to be in a state of healing, and to shine that light on each other. And when we start within, and then we work with the world around us in that space, that's how things change.
And
quickly.
that's where the magic lives.
And
right?
we need that to be that mobilize, that to mobilize.
Right. And the whole idea of the group, mediocre to magical, is like elevating your life to where it is magical, where you're experiencing that flow. And it's not only like the abundance that's flowing in your space, like, but physically, energetically, all of the things. And I really do believe that your practice is a huge part of that. So let's talk about some other testimonies. What are some of the most, I know you like the people where like they've tried everything in the world, they don't know what to do, and they come to see you. Those are who you love to see, right?
That's my ideal client. It really is, because they have it all within them, and they're so ready. They're hungry. They're thirsty, and they will do what it takes. They will go through the process.
No more excuses. Yeah.
And they do it like this, and it's quantum shifts. I mean, like right now I have a small handful of clients that are, well, I have a lot of clients I've had over a period of time, but targeted, client in this client model right now, where I'm working with a client specifically that was told she would not be here within a few months because of her late stage cancer. And 2 weeks later, we have seen quantum shifts where she is suddenly sleeping at night, able to go to the bathroom, texting me on a daily basis with the excitement and enthusiasm that she's so recharged and has a whole new perspective on what's possible, because that's coming from the inside of her. On a daily basis, her anxiety is lower, 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 and she's making better choices because her body's positioned now to do that. And I live for that. I live for the messages coming through my phone on a daily basis of, I can't tell you how much this means to me, right?
Yeah.
And really, it's way bigger than about what I'm doing for anybody. It's so much more about, can we take this home into our own houses and become our own doctors? Can I be this person for you for this short period of time, give you the tools, help you understand how magical you are, and then you go in your home, and for the rest of your life, you no longer have to you no longer have to outsource your magic and your money to convention. You know what you need within you, and you know how to get that. And you know how to, that's the integration, the embodiment part. And so, so you have to talk about the tools. You asked specifically on tools to targeted nutrients. We clear using the biomodulator, which is an electron device that I demo for my clients, and my clients use that on their own bodies. No side effects other than quick healing and a lot of energy moving. And sometimes there's a run to the bathroom and a coming out like a whole new person.
That's a good sign of releasing. Yeah. If you're a client of mine, you know that is what happens. After a big clearing, just like,
And it's a clearing and an entraining of the new pathways.
Yeah.
And how do we keep that up, keep that going? Totally. And then from there, it's the lifestyle practices that we build around that. So it's where we are in our nutrition. What energetically is going to move and activate our energy on a daily basis, right? How are we going to heal in the moment? I love the word regeneration and regenerative, regenerative activation.
Right. And you do like the remediation of the homes also. Like if this is a whole other can of worms, talking about the electromagnetic frequencies and the 5G that's coming and how we really need to protect ourselves. I'll attach a link below for some information where you guys can look at. But Angela has all of the hookups for that, and definitely a person to connect with if you would like to remediate your homes. Would you like to share about that? Because it's so important.
It is so much more foundational than really even the nutrition and even the clearing of the, I can't say clearing interferences is huge, but being in an environment where you can heal.
You can thrive.
We're missing that. We're missing that in so many practices of all kinds. If, there's a reason why you go up to the mountains and stand by the river and you feel great and you feel like you can heal. And you come home and you're like, oh, why am I hit with this? It's all the things, the responsibility. It's also the electromagnetic frequencies. It's also, the computer and the white light from the computer. It's also the fact that we are not touching the earth in our homes.
Exactly. We're up on rebar and there's like telephone wires above us. Like we think it's our new normal, but it doesn't have to be. And our bodies are getting really, really sick, and cancer is like on the rise. All of these things.
So I'll walk into a client's house and we will biofeedback muscle test using the O-ring, not the arm or the body, but a very nuanced O-ring test. And we will find out in that moment that, and this is every house I walk into that's in the space in this time, is resonating on only one polarity. And we need to be on all four polarities to be in a healing environment. So we can get the body on all four polarities. If you're not in a space that's all four polarities, you're not going to entrain with the maximum healing. You're going to run through your supplements. You're going to run through your nutrients, your food, your emotions. You're going to like age 4 times faster, essentially, with that said. So it's really important process. When I first see a client, the second or the third visit after that, we will remediate the home. And that's where we really get some good traction.
And you can tell in certain areas, like whenever I walk into your office or into your space, there's a shift and a welcoming. I think one of the last times I came in, I was like, I feel like I just need to cry and I don't know why. And you're like, because it's safe. Like there's this peace. There's this peace and it's hard to describe what it feels like when your home is remediated. But like you had said with your client, that there's no anxiety, everything that was like feels like this, that goes away.
The static.
Yeah, like that kind of energy that you feel within too. Yeah, that's a lot of what those EMFs are creating. And think about how we're on our phones all the time. Like that leaches into our body. We're on our computers. This leaches into our hand chakras, you know, through this meridian system.
Right into your heart.
How do you clear that out? And this is such a great partnership too, right? Like as a psychic and doing the intuitive healing that I do, I really clear energetically the things in our space. And I love that, again, a perfect partnership because you do support with the nutrition, the remediation, and then also just being in her space is like plugging into a light socket and you're like, woo!
I typically have way too much energy. People that know me are like, gosh.
It's perfect.
And I mean, I get so much done, and I see clients in my home office too, because we can just create magic here and have these quantum shifts. But yeah, I mean, you bring up a really good point, and you are so empathic, and the work that you do is you. I mean, you are so deeply connected to those feels, and you are also one of my ideal clients and partners to work with, of course, because of how quickly you respond, how quickly you feel things, and how you know in your truth. You know, down to the core. This is healing. This is resonating. This is what I need to do to clear the space.
Absolutely.
So that's beautiful.
I have like so many testimonies of working with you. Let's talk about the bowspring also, because I have a really beautiful testimony with that.
Yeah. So the bow, man. So I first came across the bowspring in Dallas, and it lit me up. I knew right off the bat. It's a yoga practice that is focused on allowing the fascia to hold the bones rather than the bones holding the fascia. So it's about getting a beautiful tensegrity or a hugging of, it's just creating an even tone is a better way to put it. And that creates a lot of space in the joints so that it's just such a beautiful practice in terms of moving energy through the kinetic pathways. Because of the fascia, that's where the nervous system resides. That is where the water moves, hydration moves.
This is so cool. Oh my gosh.
A whole mind shift. It can
turn the volume up, you guys. I love this.
You're so awesome. I love it. Well, it is. That's where the mind shift comes in. Is if we can be truly regenerative and we can use our own bodies instead of nutrients, right? If we can use our own bodies to move the breath and move the energy through us. And we can regenerate in every moment, how we're sitting, how we're breathing. You know, like right now, how is my throat open? Because this is a space that's really going to close down my nervous system and my speaking ability, right? So it's that awareness of posture, that awareness of how we're moving energy through our crown into our whole body that's going to help us show up. And that is such a huge piece of the integration, right? So as that holistic health coach, I don't just want to activate, get things clear, get you set up. I want you to have the tools to be able to really mobilize the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I know that you have so many clients that, you know, lots and lots of testimonies. I definitely want to share with the bow. Super cool. So I actually went dancing. We went dancing last night, and I danced so hard that I was like, I'm pretty sure I may have it wasn't my ankle that I sprained, but like my toe, my foot really hurt last night, and then it hurt this morning too. And anyways, she's like, let's, you know, how did you said like kind of like monkey toes, but let's get on a carpet and call up that like kinetic energy, call up that earthy energy and activate. It's the beginning of your toes are the beginning of the meridian system. And she's like doing this, and we did a few other movements, and I had muscle tested before, and it was like putting pressure or putting my fingers on that one point, and I muscle tested and it was weak. And then after calling up that energy and just being really intentional with it, it was on. It was just magic because we're using that natural earth energy. Right.
And we're allowing for your own kinetic pathways for the way your fascia is moving to maximize the flow through your nervous system. So by curving your toe in just the right way, right? This is actually a very stressful way to live our life where we're hyperextended. But when we are curvy, right? And we're like, that's off, fight or flight, right? And so these little motions, these little curvy motions of how we're connecting, how we're picking up our coffee cup or teacup or our water, right? And how we're utilizing the fascia to feed our heart chakra. They make a huge difference in getting the whole system orchestrated efficiently, right? To getting the whole body to connect. That is one piece that I think what we do is so different from convention is that we're not looking at just the heart or just the kidneys or just the brain. We want to know how it's all going to work together. We want to get out of the way and let spirit come through and draw those connections. And we can position ourselves for that awesome trip. And the bowspring is the best way I've ever found to do that.
It is. You know what I love is like you guys connected with Angela and you have access to all of this. And so two more testimonies that again like changed my life, and it was like, wow. The first time that I ever did bow with you, I was struggling with something with my liver or my kidneys, like in those areas especially. So we did the bow, and then I was like, oh, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was like peeing and peeing and peeing, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what, I'm still peeing. Like I went before I came. And you're like, it's your kidneys releasing, right? Like I moved that energy and I was like surprised, like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Yeah. So that was one of them. Another one, this is like kind of vulnerable to share, but it's important because I know that if you are listening to and watching this video right now, that this message is meant for you. But I went through this space and time where I was just feeling really down on myself, and I actually looked at myself in the mirror and I had these negative thoughts race through of like, you are so ugly, you look at you, and it was just like really disparaging. And I was like, oh, I think I need to see Angela. I was like, something's off, and I'm using my tools, but it's kind of like getting a massage, right? Like, or being a hairstylist. Yes, I could do my own hair. Yes, I can give myself a massage, but it's gonna be way better if I just have someone else do it for me, right? Because I can see those blind spots. Yeah, so I go to see Angela, and then we went up, we did the bow. And at the end of that, I looked up in the mirror, and my first thought when I met my own eyes was, wow, you are so beautiful. And I was like, Angela, this is crazy. Like, this is what happened. And you said, it's so profound. You're like, because beauty is when energy is moving through you.
Wow, beautiful memory, love.
Oh yeah. Well, I kept that one in my pocket. I'm going to be talking about that on stage because I was realizing, I am an entrepreneur and I work behind my computer a lot, and my clients are all over the world. So it's virtual, right? Again, like I have my EMF protection, but I wasn't like up and doing my exercise, doing my workouts. Like my energy was feeling really stagnant, so that it wasn't flowing through me. I did the bow, calling on that energy, giving myself permission to release in this beautiful, free way. And everything shifted. So if you're struggling with negative thoughts or even anxiety or depression, like that is, I do believe it's trapped energy and emotion in our space. Yeah. And that's what I specialize in, is like, how do we release that? And the bow is one of the many ways. And it also goes back to the targeted nutrition and just better understanding your body. And that's why like all of my clients, you're referred to Angela, because I'm like, at least do a spot check and see what the next steps are.
Right. And I want my clients, I want you to know that it's not, the bowspring is not something you have to go to a special room or have to dedicate 30 minutes of your life. Totally. It's an integrative tool. It's how you sit in your chair, right? It's how we walk through the earth. It's how, just how we choose to move our energy in the moment, right? So yeah, I
beautiful.
I love your breakthroughs and I love your awareness because it's that the truth is all that energy is always there, and that's who we really are.
Right. Everything you need to succeed is already within you. Right. How do we activate?
Yeah, and then keep it going, and keep it flowing, and then be resilient. Really, that resilience that we need out in the world, where we get knocked down, we pop back up. Right? There's always going to be things that come. How do we position ourselves to be ready? To be in a position to have to have so much extra energy that we can meet anything and create the desired outcome in that moment. And that's really, the bowspring, and since we moved to Reno with this incredible community that we have, oh my gosh, right? Does our community get any better? Our heart-centered community of partnership and truth and authenticity, and since walking into our community and being able to fully activate ourselves and our truth, I'll tell you what, like, I don't even know what a bad day is. I really don't. I get to work with the coolest people doing the coolest thing, and everything we walk into, we create what we want in that moment. And you know what, if there's pain, we turn that train around immediately. And then we get on that trajectory, and it's just a flow. And that's what we're here to experience, really. And that is my heartbreak, is why I do, why we do what we do. Yeah. Right? We follow that heartbreak of where's their pain? Well, let's get in there and love that pain. And let's turn that around, and let's let everybody know how magic they really are. It
was crazy. So during ecstatic dance last night, I was laying there and I was doing a meditation, just feeling the vibration of the room. And I was looking up at the ceiling. What came through is, I choose to love the hard parts. Wow. And that's exactly what, kind of like what you had said, is like, how do you move through those things? How do you learn to love those things? Yeah. And there's many layers to that, right? Mind, body, spirit, and beyond. And so I just love that this is like a full circle and like a beautiful like tied in a bow, that especially together, like we are here as a family and as a tribe and as a people and a sisterhood and a brotherhood, whatever it is, as a family for you. So please reach out if you're curious about anything, if you have questions, because we are here for you. So another question is, what do your sessions look like? So say somebody is curious, like, oh my gosh, I love this Angela woman, she's fantastic in all of the ways. How do I go? How do I move forward in setting up the session with her?
Just marrying you. So most of my clients are all referrals. I don't market myself. I mean, this is wonderful for this opportunity. For you. I'm grateful. And with that, I allow things to flow as they're going to flow. When people text or call, I let them know my next opening for an intake session. And that intake is a 2-hour session. And in that session, we do 80% of the work. And that one intake session, a lot of my clients leave, I should say this, all my clients leave with the train flipped around on the right trajectory, and they feel it in their body, because not only have we cleared the biggest interferences, but we have harmonized nutrition. And it's so cool to stand there and watch and to feel. I mean, I live for these shifts where they're waking up and they're flowing and they're like, whoa, what's happening? Yeah, oh my God, I feel so light. And that's like, we can do that with plant medicines that are super legal, that are, there's a lot. We can do that with targeted nutrition to just set that, to entrain that pathway. So that first 2 hours is those two pieces. We also, start doing a little bit of postural alignment immediately of, okay, let's make sure your hips in the right place, your heart is open, and that as you're integrating this week, and as you are, maybe we do some targeted enemas depending upon where people are at in their process, if they're willing to. Don't let that freak you out.
Oh my gosh, wait, the first time
that's so key though, people that are really needing it.
Yeah, the first time she ever said that, you said something about an enema bucket, and I was like, do you poop in the bucket? Like, how does that work? I was so confused, you guys. So trust the process.
My clientele,
it's awesome.
My clientele is dealing with cancers, and they're dealing with MS, and they're dealing with some really heavy things that they're like, I'm done, I am tired, I just need the tools. And once they have the tools, we have the quantum shifts. And I mean, it's again
quantum shifts.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people walk in with dark circles and sick with virus and bacteria and fevers, and they walk out completely alive, and they take their body back, right? And they drop the bugs out immediately. When we get everything flowing and connected, it's amazing. The spirit moves through, right? You just make space for spirit, and oh my gosh, once space is made, light moves through. It's really that simple. We freaking complicate it. And it's not rocket science. It's so simple. I actually feel really kind of silly there's no credit at all here. It's just so like, you know what I mean? You just give it to this beautiful bodies that we are. And why do we get in the way of that? Why do we allow anybody, any doctor, anybody outside of us to get in the way of that? And so that's my bigger dream, is that we can all take back our health into our own worlds, into our houses, into our homes, and teach our kids
my gosh,
how to activate and align, and how to embody, and how to integrate who they really are all the time without having to outsource and give away their energy.
I love that. I love it so much, because what you believe about your reality is ultimately true. So if you believe, oh, this is my diagnosis, and this is my future, and this is my expiration date, whatever it is, then that is true for you. That's right. I love that what we're talking about here is like, you deserve to thrive. That's right. You deserve to live that vibrant life. You deserve to be in flow. You deserve to love your body and all that it is capable of. Yes. And that is our wish for you. I know it's like, amen. Hallelujah.
Yes.
So good. Yes. So where can people connect with you?
So you know what? Just to finish that last thought, after that first session, some of my clients will choose to continue to work together for a period of time. A lot of them are set up and ready to go after one session and a follow-up session. So just know we adjust that depending upon where the client is and what they desire for their goals. And a lot of them, Health Empowered is named, my business is named Health Empowered. The whole idea is for you to take the reins on your health and do what you need to do. Right? It's the yellow and the green activation. It's like knowing that we have that energy within us to do it. In terms of how they can connect with me, I have if you get my phone number, right? Usually referral, word of mouth. You can text me, and we can set up a free consult. My website, healthempowered.com, is a great place to go. There are some testimonials on there. There's a free consult page you can fill out there, and I will get back to you. I usually get back to consults on a daily basis, and we set up a 15-minute call to just download and see if we're a fit to work together, and how quickly we can bring you in for that session. So there we go. So beautiful. So one last final question. What is your favorite word, and what does it taste like? Oh my gosh. Like, wow. I would say alignment and rainbows. What do rainbows taste like? Rainbows taste like all of the like this beautiful array of fruit.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
right? Like the blues and the reds, like the watermelon and the kiwi and all this beautiful.
I was gonna say like this fresh. No, it's perfect. I was gonna say like that fresh burst of watermelon on a hot day. That's what rainbows taste like. I love
it. Really does, that fresh, clean, just being who we really are. That alignment that comes with that. So
yeah, all of this stuff.
Awesome.
Well, I love you so much. Like
I love you,
I
honey.
do. You are changing the world.
So are you,
one
babe.
person, one session at a time. Again, if you guys are curious about connecting with Angela, highly, highly recommend it. All of her information will be linked either above or below. Like and subscribe for more awesome Thought Leader Thursdays, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Ash.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Wishing you an amazing day full of amazing things. Next time.